Howdy folks, Angry K9 here, back again on the Fullstack Server, and today we are going to go downstairs and check out a prank. I have been pranked. Stress Monster has gotten me back for the big TWSS over her head. You might remember that from an episode or two ago, and it seems she had help, so we're going to go down there and see what her and Yopi the Yellow have done to me. And also, I want to catch up on the mob farm, the mob spawner that I built a couple episodes ago. I finally finished that off camera. Want to head on over there and kind of talk about a little bit some of the changes I made on the fly, and talk about that as well. And I also want to look at this thing right here. As you can see, I've got the lights on so skellies are not spawning. I've been thinking about converting this into kind of a dual mode thing where not only do I have skeletons spawning up here and dropping down there and dying on the hoppers, and their drops going into the chest. I've also been thinking about turning it into an XP farm. Now, to be honest with you, I don't really need an XP farm. We have several on the server as it is, but I think it might be kind of cool if I just need a few quick levels instead of having to go all the way back over to the Enderman farm or all the way over to the gold farm or someplace like that a really long way away. I'd just be able to run over here real quick. Since I spend a lot of time over here, shouldn't take too long to build these guys up. I am a little bit concerned, though, about the distance down there. That is quite a drop, and I'm going to have to take my makeshift temporary farm out of there, as well as those chests, because I'm going to need to build a water stream that takes them over into the wall there, and then brings them back up here. Also, I got to keep in mind that I cannot stand on this granite strip around here, because if I do, you see the spawner is not active anymore. Once I come off of that, it is active, so I have to stand in this general vicinity. So I'll probably bring this out right here. Now my goal is to have this wall come out at least even with that strip there and just have the skeletons hanging out right in there. That way they are outside of the escape zone and will not affect that spawner. And my biggest concern, like I was saying, is with the distance there. I'm afraid that they might despawn by the time they drop down there, come around and come back up. But since it is close enough to the player, I don't think it'll be too much of a problem, so we'll have to see. So anyway, I'm going to head down into the ravine and see if I can find this prank here and see what they did. Okay, we are down here in the ravine now, and so far I don't really see anything out of the ordinary. Now I'm not really sure where this prank took place. All I know is it was in the ravine, so I'm going to guess that it's down here somewhere. Let's see here. I don't think it's up there. I guess it could be. I'll go up there in a second and take a look. Let me peek over here. That's unfinished area. Doesn't look like anything over here. No. So let's head down toward the portal and see. Oh my. Oh no. Oh boy. Cats everywhere. Oh no. Meow, meow, meow. Oh, good lord. Oh, kitty, kitty, kitty. Oh, let's see here. 2K9, thanks for my TWSS above me head at spawn. Yopi and I thought we would repay you with a dog's best friend. Enjoy the kitties. They will not love you forever, because they are cats. Yopi says, I helped. Oh my goodness. Oh boy, there are cats all over the place here. Lots of cats. Is that the only ones? Just that little group there? I don't see any other ones around here. Oh boy, I'm gonna hear meowing forever now. And they're all seated, so they're not gonna teleport away. Looks like those are the only ones. Oh boy. Well, this is certainly gonna be an interesting adventure trying to get these cats out of here. I'm gonna guess that they probably want to keep them, so I'm not gonna kill them. Even though it is kind of tempting, you know, me being a dog and all, but then again, you know, not all dogs hate cats. Alrighty then. Well, I'm gonna have to think up a way to take care of these cats here, and looks like I'm gonna have to come up with a way to get Yopi back as well, since she was involved. So, Yopi, better keep your eyes over your shoulder, because I think you're next. I'm in the Nether now, and I don't really know if I've talked about this little area here on video or not. I built this little kind of a mini hub, I guess you could say. There's the tunnel that comes from the tunnel to spawn, and I built this little room here with this theme, and it's based on something that I saw online on the Minecraft forum by forum user King Trigon. He had, I think this was his Nether hub, or something very similar to this. I didn't copy his design exactly. I've got this dispenser up here with some splash potions of swiftness, speed potions, whatever you want to call them. And the reason why I did that is because at one point in time we didn't have beacons, but thanks to Mr. Nick Nasty, we have beacons all over the place now. So we have speed potion here, so we can just kind of run around. Don't need those anymore. This tunnel here I built to access the mob farm that I built, and I didn't really light the whole thing up. It's kind of a generic little design, but it fits with the rest of this here. I was very sparing on the light here. I wanted a good kind of mix of light and dark. I like using darkness whenever I can in areas where mobs won't spawn. So that's why I did that. Now we're going to head on through the portal here, and we're going to take a quick look, just a brief look at the mob farm. Like I said, I did finish it up. And you might recall that I had a platform up there where that glowstone is. I went ahead and took that out, brought the portal down here, and this is the collection system here. I didn't really go all out with this. Just got a couple of chests here, and a simple little item elevator, 4 blocks high, or 4 droppers high. Obviously, when these things drop here, the items move their way up here into the hoppers and over here in the chests. This thing works great when nobody's online. It really produces well because we are so high up in the air, and also out over the ocean. There's a small island below me, which I'm still thinking about taking that island out completely. Not sure if I'm going to do that yet. I don't really have anything down there. I don't have access to it anymore. The only way to get up here is through that portal. But yeah, I dropped the platform down, and like I said, when nobody else is online, this thing works really well. Now I have some lava up there. Right where that glowstone is, I have some lava there because I was having a problem, one, with spiders, and now that Yopi's logged off, I am the only one online, so this thing might really start kicking up a notch. I was having problems with spiders climbing back up in there and hanging around, so the lava takes care of that. And also, some of these guys were dropping here with feather falling boots, the zombies and skeletons, so they were surviving the fall. The lava helps. I do still get an occasional mob that survives the fall here because of feather falling, but I left a few blocks of glass out here, and then I can just shoot arrows through them, or if they're close enough I can just hit them with the sword, whatever, and that takes care of them. That way we don't have too much of a problem with these guys collecting down here and causing things to not spawn. Originally I was going to have an item elevator. There we go, now they're really coming down. Originally I was going to have an item elevator go up to that upper platform, but I discovered that that upper platform was not necessary, so I just got this here, and I just sort stuff into chests manually. And you can see we've got quite a bit here, a double chest of gunpowder, and quite a few witch drops. I've got a second chest set up and ready to go. A lot of string, tons of arrows, and lots of bones, plenty of zombie flesh. Not that we're ever really going to use that rotten flesh. You got some spare chests over there. So yeah, it works really well. 5x5 drop zone, and this thing spawns really well. I did have an issue with the water buckets up there, the dispensers. I have 4 dispensers on each spawn platform, and I have 5 spawn platforms. And what I was noticing is that I was getting empty buckets down here in the drop chest, and it turns out for some reason, and I'm not really sure why, but every once in a while one of those dispensers throws out the water bucket and it ends up coming down here, and we lose the water pushing ability on that one particular platform. I'm not really sure why that happens. It only happens on this server. I actually built this same thing in my single player world, and it has never done that over there. And I also built it on my private server, the server I have with a couple of friends of mine, and it also doesn't do it on there either. So I'm not really sure what it is about the Fullstack server, why it does that. But something I have to keep an eye on. Other than that, it works really well, so I'm happy with it, and I certainly love the amount of gunpowder. Now, obviously, I could have just went over to the witch farm to collect gunpowder, but, you know, I like having my own stash as well, so I'm not, you know, hogging up all of the community stores, and I'm sure that I am going to put most of that gunpowder to use at some point in time in the future. I have a couple of ideas for some projects which I don't really want to talk about right now. Save them for future videos. And yeah, hopefully I'll be able to make those work out. And if so, I'm definitely going to need a lot of TNT. So that's pretty much it for the mob spawner. It is completed, and anybody on the server is welcome to come over here and AFK all you want. And if you need anything, gunpowder, empty bottles, got quite a few of those. A little bit of glowstone, stuff like that. All these witch drops you can get at the witch farm. A lot more of them at the witch farm. But if you need string, I got a bunch of it here. Of course, arrows and bones. I've got arrows and bones everywhere. And anybody who wants any rotten flesh, come on over and take all you want. So I am going to head back on over to the base. I want to take a look at that skeleton spawner. I want to kind of see if I might be able to go ahead and dual mode it like I was talking about. Turn it into an XP farm as well as a drop collection farm. And it's going to take some work. Now, I've not done this in creative yet. Ooh, a little bit of lag. I've not done this in creative yet like I usually like to try to do. I don't have a copy of this world locally that I can do that in. So I'm going to have to kind of wing it. So hopefully I won't have too much trouble with it. Alright, to start this project off, I needed to move my farm over there. It was over here. Again, this is just a temporary farm that I'm just keeping down here for right now, just so I have some wheat and carrots so I can breed the animals I have up top. So I needed to move that over there. Got that done. And what I want to do is I'm going to have this kind of tunnel over to that wall over there. And I'm going to have it on the surface. I'm not going to dig it down below the ground. It might look better if I did that. But I think it'd be kind of cool to be able to watch these guys moving around. So I should have did this 5 wide instead of just 3. And I'm going to go ahead and take these out. And I'm going to need water to push these guys over. So I'm going to have to count some blocks here. And it's going to be a lot longer than 8 blocks. And water only travels 8 blocks. So I'm going to have to add some signs into it as well. And let's see here. They're going to land on those. And this only needs to be too high. So we can take this glass out right here. And I'm going to have to move those chests as well. I'm going to move them over here because I'm going to have dispensers back here, right where these glass blocks are, and I'm going to have redstone come up underneath it. So I'm going to have to move the chests, and I think that should be okay. And I brought some supplies here. Go ahead and throw that in there and grab some of this. A couple of those, get rid of that. Just kind of put all that stuff up there for right now. And let's see here. I think that's good. Let me throw down some diorite right along the line here on both sides, and it's also going to be right about here. I think that should be good, and yeah, that should work out pretty well. And then we're just going to have them travel over here in a water stream, and they'll go into the wall. And then I'm going to have a trench back there, a 1 wide trench that'll move them over. It'll bunch them all up into one stream instead of having them 3 wide, and it'll carry them all the way up. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to go all the way to the top. I might go to the 2nd level. I'm going to have to do some testing to see if I can stand close enough to the spawner to keep it active down there. And I'm probably going to have to bring it out pretty far to do that. So I'm not really sure if I'm going to be able to do that or not, but I'll check it out. In the meantime, I want to go ahead and get all this set up the way I need it. I need to move these chests over here and rearrange those hoppers in there, and fill all of this in, and put some lighting in it as well. Try to figure out exactly where I want the lights to go. Probably put one right there. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and get all this set up, and then I will come back and we will take a look at what I've got to do next. I just love that view. I think that is so cool. Anyway, I've got this built here the way I'm going to set it up, and I've also got the water streams area ready to go. I'm going to have a water elevator there to carry the skellies up, and I'm also going to have one underneath there, not a water elevator actually, but a shaft for redstone. And I've dug this out under here, and I'm going to run redstone up here and up this tube. And the reason why I need to do that is because I'm going to have a switch up there that will switch between modes, whether it's drop collection or XP mode. It's going to be up on that side. And so I'm going to run the redstone down and underneath, and it's going to have to come over here and activate these droppers. In the meantime, I need to figure out where I'm going to have to put these signs. So I'm going to put this water over here. I'm going to have water buckets in these droppers, and when I activate them, it's going to put out the water just like that. And then the signs, I'm going to have a sign here and a sign there, and I'm going to have to do that all the way across, just like this. Okay, and let me pick this water back up. And then I'm going to have water here. I think I can do this against the sign. I'm not sure. Nope, wrong side. And then the water on either side. And the only reason I'm putting all three of them in here is just so I get an idea of exactly where the water is going to stop. This water will come up under here, and then this water here will come along, and that will keep the skeletons moving right along. And we're going to need a couple more signs right here. So I put these down here. And I think that's going to be it. I'll be able to put some signs there, and I think we'll be alright. So let me go ahead and grab this water. I just want to see how far this water is going to go. Okay. We will need a sign right here, and one more right there. And that'll take care of that. So let me go ahead and take this block out, replace it with a sign, pick up this water. One there, and one there. And that should take care of that. And then we're going to have a water source block right there, which is going to come right here. And we'll have a sign here, and a sign there. And then we'll have a water source block here, then a sign, then a water source block, then a sign. And we'll do that all the way up to the top, carry the skeletons up. That way with the air blocks in there, they won't drown. And then we'll be able to run the redstone. Well, it took me a while, but I do believe I finally have this wired up properly, the way I want it to work. Now, I have a button up there, and what I wanted to do was to be able to hit that button up there, and it would activate these dispensers and send the water out. One thing I realized was that sometimes these guys fall, and if they have feather falling, they survive the drop. And if I just left this open here, they would be able to walk around here and probably from time to time get caught up in the water stream and taken back up top. Now, that's really not that big of a deal. It's probably good if they did get taken up there, but I didn't want to do that. So what I did was I installed some pistons underneath that row of blocks right there at the edge of the hoppers, so that those blocks will also come up. So any of those guys that survive, unlike that squid, will not be able to get out and walk over that way. So the redstone is simple, but for somebody who doesn't really know redstone very well, for me, it was a little difficult. So anyway, we'll start back here. I have slime blocks pillared all the way down with a couple of redstone blocks attached to them and some sticky pistons, so that when I hit the button up there, the pistons will push the slime blocks down, which will ultimately push this redstone block down. And I'm going to have some redstone here and here. I've got a button here for right now, and since it's operated on the button, the block should drop down for a second and then come back up, just enough to send a signal through and activate this little T flip-flop that I put in right here. I've got two hoppers here pointing into each other, and the redstone torch, and there's a single item in there, just a little button. And when this is activated, this torch will go off, deactivating this redstone, and it'll let that button go over here into this hopper, which will then send the signal into this comparator and down this line, which will activate these pistons. It'll raise them up, and right now they are off. They should be off, I believe. They should be off, right? Yeah, okay. So they are down right now with the water flowing, but when the water's not flowing, these should be up. So once I send a signal through here, that through that T flip-flop, that will raise these up, and it will also send this signal down the secondary line on this side where the signal is inverted. And it'll send it down through here and over to here, and it will power these blocks, which will temporarily cycle these redstone torches, which will deactivate those dispensers there, and then the water will stop flowing. So if this works right, at least that's the way it should work. So if this works right, when I go down here and hit this button, it should raise those pistons and deactivate those dispensers, draw the water back in. So let me go ahead and hit it. And so far it looks like it may have worked. The pistons are raised. And if this worked out, the water should not be flowing. And it's not. Okay, so now that's blocked off. Now if I run down there and hit that button again, the pistons should come down and the water should flow. Let's go ahead and do that. And the pistons have come down, so the water should now be flowing. And ready to carry these guys up to the elevator. Awesome. So I also have the water flowing down over here, and then I do have a water block elevator all the way up to the top, carrying the skeletons up to the top. I replaced that temporary button below with redstone, and in theory, if this works, I should be able to hit this button now, and it should turn off the water flow from the dispensers, and it should also raise those pistons if it works. Right now the water is flowing and the pistons are down, so if skeletons were to drop down right now, they would eventually make their way up into this kill area here. And I have brought this all the way out right to the edge of the woods so that I can stand right up against it and the spawner will still be active. Again, if I stand on the granite here, the spawner won't be active, so I don't want to do that too far. Don't want to stand too far away, so we'll just have it here. And you can just barely see the little lip of the water right there coming down here. So they'll drop down right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Mumbo's mob softener in here. I believe it was Mumbo Jumbo that made it. Basically, it's just a little device here where you hit a button and it pulses a lava source block out and back in real quick into a dispenser. Just long enough to set the guys on fire and bring them down to one hit, except for the guys in the armor. The skeletons wearing armor, those probably won't be one hit. So anyway, let me hit this button, and if this works, I should be able to drop down to the bottom, and the water should not be flowing, and those pistons should be up. So you heard the pistons in the background there. So if this worked out right, it looks like the water's not flowing, but the blocks are not up. So that means I'm going to have to work on that a little bit more. Okay, now you are looking at the bottom area down there through my camera account. I did get the redstone straightened out. It was exactly what I thought it was. The pulse was too long, and I'm not really sure why I wasn't thinking about that to begin with, but I didn't need the T flip-flop at all. What I did need was a pulse limiter, which I did build down there. So now I'm at the top with my main account, and my camera account is at the bottom looking at the drop zone. So when I hit the button up here, the block should come up and the water should actually the blocks are up now, the water should dispense, the block should drop. So when I hit that, it should work out just right. And you can see the water is flowing and the blocks did drop. Now if I hit the button again, the block should raise and the water should stop. Just like that. So the dual mode system is working now. And I got that all straightened out, and we will run down here and take a look at the redstone really quick. And I set up a pulse limiter here. There's a sticky piston underneath this block, and when I hit the button up there, it drops this redstone block down here, which powers this redstone here, and that raises this piston, which causes this piston to fire really quick. And it'll grab that block and move it back, or leave it out depending on what state it's in. And it will also send a signal through this inverter here, which will power this wire and power the droppers, and either dispense the water or retake the water back, depending on what state it is in. So that's all I needed to do. I'm not really sure why I thought I needed a T flip-flop. I wasn't really thinking straight. Obviously, I'm not very good with redstone, but I did get it figured out. So I'll fill all this in later and block it off, cover it up, everything like that, so that it's not down here. And what I need to do now is go topside, and I need to get that mob softener installed up there. So I'm going to need to go get a lava bucket. Okay, I finally got all that straight. I've got the mob softener in place. I've moved the light switch over to this side here. I'm actually not going to leave it there. I'm going to move it, put it on the wall here. I've got a couple of things I'm going to do, but I do have this working the way I want it to work. So we'll go ahead and turn the lights off here. And it looks like we had 3 skellies drop down there. And it takes a little while for them to get over here. I'm going to drop a couple more here, let a couple more drop, and I'll turn the light back on. That way we can count to make sure they get all over here. So far we've had 3 come through. So now let's see if we can get a few more to drop. There we go. Looks like we got 3 more. Okay, so 6. Let's go ahead and turn that on. Got the lights back on now, so we'll wait here for just a minute and wait for these guys to come down here. And when they get here, there should be 6 of them over here. And we'll go ahead and test out the mob softener. Okay, and that should be it. They all should be over here now. So we're going to go ahead and hit this button over here. And you can see the lava dispenses. Sets them on fire, and they burn here for just a minute. And none of them should die. Hopefully none of them will. It's a little loud there. Ooh. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to go ahead and hit these guys with my fist instead of the sword. And with the exception of the guy in the armor, they should be one-hit kill there. So far, so good. Looks like the guy in the armor takes quite a few hits, and then the other ones are all one-hit kill. I do have a hopper there in this chest here, and you can see I've tried it out a couple of times, and everything seems to be working quite well. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of this stuff here. Clean up the area a little bit. A couple of things I want to do. First of all, I want to put a light over here, a redstone lantern or a redstone lamp. An indicator light basically tells me what state that is in down there, whether it's in collection mode or if it's in XP mode. Right now it's in XP mode. If I hit that button, puts it in collection mode, you can see the water stop. So I want to put an indicator light up there. It tells me what mode that's in, as well as put some lighting up in here in these holes here so that I don't have to have these torches here. And I want to move that light switch over to here somewhere, or maybe up here, I'm not really sure, somewhere close in this area, and that will pretty much complete this project. Now, it's not the most elegant looking thing in the world, but it does work, and that's all that matters. So yeah, that's going to do it for this episode. Probably just a little bit longer than I really wanted to. I'll have to see what I can do in editing. Anyway, I sure do appreciate you watching. I hope you liked the video. My name is Angry K9, and I will see you next time on Fullstack.